Okay, so I think in this session, I'm going to broadly touch upon what is merger and amalgamation and the laws that govern the process of merger and amalgamation and demerger as well in India, specifically from the perspective of Companies Act and SEBI regulations. So first, we are going to discuss what is the meaning of merger and amalgamation. The previous speaker, Shraddha, actually touched upon this. What is the meaning of merger and amalgamation and demerger? So I'll be taking a difference of what is the real difference between merger and amalgamation. Then we'll look at what are the various primary laws that are applicable in India with respect to doing any merger or demerger. Then we will broadly see what is the process that is to be followed for undertaking a merger and demerger pursuant to the Companies Act. Then we will discuss the key terms that people usually find in a scheme of amalgamation, scheme of demerger or an arrangement. Then we will be discussing the fast track and the cross-border merger in India. And then the second last and the last slide will be around the usual queries that the client poses us when they are undertaking a transaction of merger or a demerger. So starting with the first. So what is actually meant by merger and amalgamation? Now, both these words are actually not defined under the Companies Act at all. However, if you see section 232, it refers to both merger as well as amalgamation. Now, amalgamation, as you know, the previous speaker actually defined, it is defined under section 21B of the Income Tax Act, where it means that merger of one or more companies with another company or merger of two or more companies. Now, the real question is how do you differentiate between a merger or an amalgamation? And an amalgamation from the pure perspective of income tax provides that if there is amalgamation that occurs, then it should be a tax neutral or tax effective amalgamation, basically meaning that there should not be any kind of a capital gains tax that the company should suffer. Now, what would be the meaning of merger? Now, if you in the Companies Act 2013, 232 provides merger of two kinds. One is merger by absorption and one is merger by formation. Merger by absorption simply means if there are two companies, A and B merges into A, that is a merger by absorption. Merger by formation simply means that A and B merges together and they form a new company, that is C. That is a merger by formation. Now, if you see merger by absorption as well as the merger by formation, both are covered under the definition of amalgamation, which says that merger of one or more companies with another company, this would mean a merger by absorption. Merger of two or more companies into which they merge or which is formed as a result of the merger into a new company is a merger by formation. So basically, there is no real difference when it comes to both merger and amalgamation. You can say they are used interchangeably, right? Or you can say all amalgamations are actually merger because the definition of amalgamation itself refers to the word merger. Merger is nowhere defined under the act, so therefore there is no real distinction that one can draw what is a merger or what is an amalgamation. It is from a pure perspective of income tax that all mergers are deemed to be amalgamations as well. And just to make a scheme, a tax effective scheme or tax neutral scheme, as we call it, the amalgamation as provided in the Income Tax Act, along with the condition, and the most important condition being that the shareholders of the merging company, that would be in the example of A and B merging into A, is that shareholders of B should definitely get shares in A. That would actually constitute, that would actually be an amalgamation under the Income Tax Act.
Acromic point.